What strange wonders lie hidden in the depths of the ocean? In its eternal darkness rests a world of mystery and intrigue, where divers often stumble upon astonishing finds, from forgotten underwater tombs to bizarre, unknown creatures. Join us as we reveal the 20 strangest things recently found by deep-sea divers. Number 20. The Black Pharaoh's Tomb. Beneath steady Nile waters lies a kingdom erased from most records of ancient Egypt, that of the Nubian Black Pharaohs, who ruled as the 25th dynasty for 50 years starting in 760 BCE. Modern prejudice and racism likely fueled their astonishing absence from Egyptian historical accounts. But tantalizing new underwater discoveries in northern Sudan seek to restore their rich legacy, expressed through magnificent structures along the Nile. At the royal Nubian capital of Dangel, archaeologists drained and then explored an enormous 18th dynasty temple from Pharaoh Thutmose III, exceeded in size only by Karnak. Carved sandstone walls with the cartouche of Amenhotep II confirm Nubian respect and incorporation of Egyptian deities into temples later flooded when Lake Nasser rose behind the Aswan Dam. Just as remarkable was a life-sized black granite statue of Pharaoh Taharka, one of Nubia's most prosperous rulers, found submerged there. But the most exciting finds continue emerging further upstream of the Nile near modern Karima. In 2019, archaeologists detected, then dove upon, submerged stairs leading down into the darkness, revealing it opens into the lost funerary temple of Aspelta, founder of Nubia's 25th dynasty. Walls of gold glint within water-filled chambers still awaiting complete excavation. The rediscovery of Aspelta's tomb assures the legacy of Nubia's dynasty persists against those who tried concealing their profound leadership. Number 19. World War II Silver. In March 2013, an exploration team completed the deepest Atlantic salvage operation ever successfully recorded when it hauled up over 1,200 kilograms of silver bullion lost in World War II. Recovery firm Odyssey Marine Exploration resurfaced the trove of precious metal ingots from the SS Gersapa, lying 1 mile deeper than the Titanic wreck site. The 412-foot British cargo steamer sank in February 1941 after a German U-boat attacked 300 miles off Ireland while desperately running low on coal. As one of the ships supplying vital provisions for the war effort, it went down with a silver payload insured at £600,000. At today's £150 million value. This loss contributed to the UK being driven off the gold standard shortly after. Families of the 86 men lost at sea expressed gratitude for having some closure from finding its long-hidden location. Using advanced sonar, remote vehicles, and 5,800 meters of cable, a crew grappled for silver bars scattered across the seafloor. Over 1,200 bars were hauled up, the metal and tragedy entwined within finally brought back to the surface after 70 years. Like the Titanic now fertilizing new metal-loving bacteria and ecosystems, the Gersapa also hosts colorful coral formations along its encrusted railings and rustic less. Its tale forever intertwines with the fortunes and futures buried and recovered from the abyss. Number 18. Amberjack Hole. Within an underwater depression named Amberjack Hole off Florida, divers enter a true blue void in the ocean floor. The massive, open sink structure known as a blue hole plunges to over 450 feet, forming a cylindrical cavity surrounded by sloping sides encrusted with coral. The site attracts reef fish, sharks, and of course jacks, predatory sportfish who patrol the upper rim walls thriving in its rich ecosystem. But blue holes in general remain little understood. Ranging from hundreds to thousands of feet deep, they dot waters across the Bahamas, eastern Atlantic, and other regions in surprisingly high numbers. Some even connect to cave systems. Their technical name, marine sinkholes, hints at how they liken to geologic formations on land, yet we know shockingly little about their full scale and global distribution across shelf waters, thanks to most existing imperceptibly deep and unseen far offshore. The Amberjack Hole presents a doorway for scientists to study life thriving at different depths, as well as collect water and microbiological specimens for analysis. And for divers descending through its blue abyss, experiencing vertical walls and life proliferating across vivid depth gradients evokes the psychological allure and mystery that has drawn humanity into the hidden depths across eras. What other discoveries await as we expand our understanding of the ocean's sunken secrets? Number 17. Thistlegorm Shipwreck. Lying near the reefs of Egypt's Red Sea is the wreck of a British armed merchant navy ship, bombed and sunk during World War II. The SS Thistlegorm has become one of the world's most famous and accessible shipwrecks since its discovery in the 1950s, offering divers the chance to explore a wartime time capsule. The 413-foot steamship was sunk on October 6, 1941, by German pilot Heinz Wolfgang Schauer while at anchor near Ras Mohammed. Packed with vital supplies destined for British forces in North Africa, the Thistlegorm carried everything from trucks, motorbikes, aircraft parts, boots and ammunition to Wellington boots and toilet paper, all items that epitomized the British wartime effort. Depth charges set off by the crew as a defense measure likely accelerated the sinking. While 9 sailors tragically perished, the Thistlegorm remained forgotten on the seafloor until it was rediscovered and identified in 1956 by famed ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau. Divers who descend its wreck today are met with an astonishing sight. A ship still fully loaded with its cargo, sitting upright on the sand with metalwork and colors remarkably intact thanks to low current conditions. Motorbikes still rest upright in the hold, while dozens of trucks sit loaded on the deck, their tires now home to fish, all artifacts from the glory days of British manufacturing power. Number 16. Polynesian Moai statues. The iconic monolithic human figures of Easter Island have also been glimpsed by divers under the sea. Known as Moai, nearly 900 of these statues exist on land, built by the ancient Rapa Nui people who inhabited the remote Pacific island. But some Moai have been found partially submerged along sections of the island's coast. How they came to rest under the waves is uncertain. Some theories suggest they were drowned by rising seas, while others propose they could have been part of sacred rituals or offerings to gods. One of the most impressive drowned Moai was discovered near Easter Island's Anakina Beach in 2009. Carved from volcanic rock, it measures over 16 feet in height and weighs several tons. It stands with its back to the ocean, as if protectively watching over the shore. This has led some archaeologists to suggest it originally stood guard on land, but eroded into the sea as waters gradually rose over centuries following the last ice age peak. Other small Moai scattered nearby appear positioned upside down or on their sides. Finds like this demonstrate that our view of Rapa Nui's intriguing ancient culture remains incomplete without investigations of underwater areas too. The Rapa Nui held a unique belief that Moai embodied ancestral spirits, and each was associated with a village group's mythological founder. Some Moai may have been disempowered upon a rival chief's death to diminish the chief's spiritual influence and usher in new leadership. Intentionally toppling select Moai into the sea could support this. Whatever their precise purpose, submerged Easter Island statues accentuate the mystical aura surrounding them. On land, the figures keep watch from their watery resting places, as if hinting at lost histories and beliefs now drowned by tides of time. Now it's time for today's topic. The dive began just after sunrise near the Bahamas, off the edge of the tongue of the ocean, where visibility drops into blue-black nothing. At 30 meters, the guide's camera caught a shadow that didn't make sense. Then the hammer appeared. Its head was impossibly wide, its body thick as a small boat, stretching far beyond the frame. The diver beside it looked like a toy. Instruments later estimated the shark at well over 8 meters, larger than any hammerhead ever recorded. It circled once, slow and deliberate, eye sweeping the lens. The current shifted. The team aborted instantly. Back on deck, seasoned divers were shaking. The footage spread fast. Scientists paused the video on one frame and whispered the same thing. That's not supposed to exist anymore. Number 15. Arctic hydromedusa. Delicate, translucent and phantom-like, a unique jellyfish relative known as the Arctic hydromedusa drifts silently across polar seas. With their wispy tentacles and fragile bells, they resemble extraterrestrial creatures more than any earthly being. Yet these ethereal life forms survive and thrive within one of the planet's harshest habitats, the dark, frigid waters of the Arctic Ocean. Their gelatinous bodies pulse against freezing black depths between scattered ice flows, descending to over 3,300 feet, chasing plankton and small fish into perpetual gloom. Vivid hues tinge some species in signature bioluminescent patterns, granting them an otherworldly biotic glow as they spiral through liquid space untroubled by a sun hidden for months on end. Larger relatives like the lion's mane jelly draw more notoriety for their imposing sizes, but for sheer mystical appearance, the diminutive hydromedusa stand apart. Their unlikely existence captures the reality of nature's surprising diversity that manages to emerge even in extreme worlds like the Arctic deep. They serve as inspiration that life finds a way to gracefully persevere and bloom against the odds, as fragile as that persistence may seem. Number 14. 13,000-year-old skull. Ancient human skeletal remains offer a remarkable glimpse into the remote lives of our ancestors. But few provide as long a view into the past as the oldest known human fossil found in all the Americas, that of a teenage girl who lived nearly 13,000 years ago. Her bones were discovered by divers over 100 feet underwater in a pitch-black Mexican cenote cave, sacred to the ancient Maya. The caves had remained sealed for millennia, enabling her secrets to survive until present times. Named Naya, Greek for water nymph, the petite 15 to 17-year-old fell over 100 vertical feet into the cave shaft, perhaps desperately seeking water in a harsh pine landscape. Though she likely died quickly from her injuries, the cool, fresh water and dark cave environment perfectly preserved every detail. Scientists could analyze her pelvis shape, dental cavities, spine curvature, and even remnants of meals through a fossilized plaque on her teeth. Isotopes in her bones trace origins, confirming some of the first people likely arrived in North America via the Bering Land Bridge near the end of the last glacial period. While Naya's life was tragically cut short before adulthood during a time of climatic flux and upheaval, her remains now serve as an essential key to unlocking secrets of the earliest Native Americans, their health, challenges, ancestry, diets, and survival skills in adapting to dramatic environmental shifts. Submerged fossils like Naya's reinforce that many insights on our collective story as early hunter-gatherers still lie hidden beneath the waves and in flooded caves, only now being explored. Number 13. Apollo 11 engines. When Apollo 11 propelled humanity's first envoys toward another world in 1969, it rode the controlled fury of 5 monstrous rocket engines channeling the power of a controlled sun, burning 20 tons of fuel a second. Their 12 minutes of Saturn V's glory hurled Columbia out of sight before the boosters tumbled back to lay hidden for decades off Florida. The ambition powering their flight disappeared from memory, much like the mammoth nozzles jettisoned from the rocket's first stage after completing their history-making work. That changed in March 2012 when sensors on board a salvage vessel glimpsed and then confirmed almost mythical outlines 2.5 miles down on Atlantic abyssal plains. High-def scans gradually resolved 5 iconic F-1 engines bigger than buses that unleashed the internal power of 25 Hoover dams upon an Earth rapidly receding below. Seabed vehicles were swiftly deployed, returning images of mighty nozzles thrusting upwards out of the silt, granting an improbable glimpse back into a seminal event for human achievement. Number 12. Underwater train graveyard. Lying eerily on the seafloor off the coast of New Jersey is a fleet of long-forgotten steam locomotives dating back over 170 years. These rare Planet-class steam engines, built in the 1850s, were glimpsed for the first time in 1985 by a local diver over a century after their mystifying journey to the ocean depths. Their discovery sparked immediate intrigue and many perplexing questions. How did a set of vintage trains end up abandoned in their unlikely underwater grave? The locomotives, models 2-2-2T, believed to be from the 1850s, number around a dozen in total based on sonar imaging. They sit upright, partly buried in sediment, their metal bodies remarkably intact despite decades of corrosion from salty seawater. Haunting images show them lined up neatly in their final resting place, almost as if they are parked at an underwater railway station still waiting dutifully for passengers long gone. The theories behind their watery fate remain speculative at best. Some experts suggest they were aboard a barge transporting them along the coast when a powerful storm hit, toppling both locomotives and barge to their demise. Others float an alternative theory. The trains were deliberately sunk, either as an insurance scheme or simply an era's unregulated way of scrapping outdated technology no longer fit for the rails. Number 11. Blackbeard cannons. The waters surrounding North Carolina's Outer Banks abound with legends of notorious pirates and sunken fortunes. Centuries ago, Blackbeard stands high amongst them, a British sailor who plundered Caribbean and colonial American waters, amassing power and riches sufficient to assemble a small fleet. By 1718, however, several naval forces converged to eliminate his threats, successfully sending Blackbeard and his ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, or so the story went, to the briny waters. In 2022, new details emerged from Blackbeard's story when marine technicians happened upon a massive cannon embedded in sand 2 feet down off Atlantic Beach. 8 feet long and weighing a colossal 2,000 pounds, the cannon size matches records of those mounted aboard Queen Anne's Revenge. Its discovery followed another found recently, hinting that more remnants await recovery, potentially with metallic and emerald bounties on par with pirate tales. What draws many isn't just fortune, but tangible history, allowing one to momentarily time warp aboard a 300-year-old pirate flagship as it unleashed chaos and ambitions unmatched during its era. Each cannon blast echoes stories painted in ominous broadsides and booming authority across the seas. But even without gold or jewels, adventures into the historical unknown seem their own self-justifying rewards. Number 10. $1,000,000 treasure. The discovery of lost treasure ignites the imagination like little else. In July 2015, that dream became reality for Eric Schmidt, a professional salvager, when he uncovered over $1 million worth of coins on an unnamed 1715 Spanish shipwreck site off Florida's Treasure Coast. The find added to the lore of what's considered the richest unsalvaged wreck area on Earth. That area's moniker dates back over 300 years ago, when Spain dominated the world's seas and plundered much of South America's wealth. Spanish galleons laden with riches plied a route back to Europe, sailing along Florida's eastern shoreline. In July 1715, all that changed when a hurricane slammed the coast, sinking 10 Spanish treasure ships and scattering their fortunes across the continental shelf in one of history's largest ever treasure losses. Gold and silver worth $500 million in today's terms remains lost. Schmidt made his 2015 find while magnet fishing to comb a new unidentified debris field, turning up 51 gold coins within seconds, then unearthing hundreds more buried beneath sand. Well-preserved escudos and reels, some still clumped together. Later searches uncovered rare Colombian emeralds, fulfilling a lifelong dream for Schmidt. Number 9. Atlit Yam. Set 8 to 9 meters beneath the Mediterranean waves, 8,900-year-old circular stone foundations lie hidden that change our understanding of humankind's earliest seafaring settlers and civilizations. Off Israel's Carmel coast, a submerged Neolithic village has been discovered, showing some of the most ancient evidence of an agrarian pastoral fishing economy in a marine environment. Atlit Yam's well-preserved remains include stone circles measuring up to 10 feet across that once supported wooden huts with hearths and installations typical of established settlements. Artifacts like wood, seed, and flint tools paint a society skilled in multiple food production strategies vital for villages, plant harvesting, keeping livestock, and abundant fishing. Seawater ultimately rose, submerging Atlit Yam so gently over centuries that an unparalleled snapshot of everyday life was captured for modern rediscovery, opening an unexpected lens into how early Holocene peoples innovated livelihoods. Like clues in a veiled landscape, the sunken ruins of Atlit Yam reveal nuances of humanity's first coastal communities, experimenting with the bountiful yet untamed ecosystems surrounding them. It underscores that the ocean, facing ancients just as today, presented both adventures and perils encircling the known horizons. Number 8. Road to Atlantis. The legend of the lost city of Atlantis has enthralled humanity for millennia. The utopian island society described by ancient Greek philosophers was said to vanish beneath the waves in a single day and night. But could the mythical Atlantis be real? No one was supposed to find this. If a diver didn't capture this, no one would believe this. In the late 1960s, divers made a perplexing and intriguing discovery in the crystal-clear Caribbean waters that seemed to suggest the legend may be true. An underwater arrangement of unusually straight megalithic stone formations resembling a road, temple, or wall, leading to who knows where. Found off North Bimini Island in the Bahamas, 0.6-mile-long underwater arrangement of stones appears out of place amongst the backdrop of natural jagged limestone and reef. Named the Bimini Road, some theorize it is a remnant causeway, breakwater, or harbor wall from the ancient city of Atlantis itself, presumably built before its fabled destruction. Its discovery coincided with the exact time and place the famous psychic Edgar Cayce had predicted evidence of Atlantis would be found, further igniting the mystery. Geologists, however, suggest the Bimini Roadstones are an example of a natural phenomenon known as beach rock, a natural concrete-like sedimentary formation created by the precipitation of carbonates where sand beaches meet shallow, warm seas. The intertidal zone repeatedly wets and dries these sands, forming the rubble into blocks. Studies show the stones match similar formations found on nearby shores. Yet Atlantis theorists argue it would be an extraordinary coincidence for beach rock to form so uniformly. While the debates continue, the site remains a popular dive attraction. And despite evidence leaning away from Atlantis origins, we can't fully rule out the possibility of a genuine ancient human structure buried within the Caribbean, which was after all once dotted with lost civilizations, some like the Maya possibly influenced by contact with or legends of Atlantis itself. Number 7. World War II fighter plane. World War II rages as a defining crucible that shaped today's modern world order. Battlefronts stretched across oceans and continents from 1939 to 1945. Above and below the waves, the immense Coral Sea clash between Japanese and Allied naval air forces marked a pivotal Pacific campaign where each side fought without directly firing upon enemy ships. Aircraft targeting vessels hundreds of miles away heralded new eras in naval warfare. This remote battle also left its void. Missing in action, the crew and planes lost to the abyss. That darkness gave up some secrets in 2018 when an international expedition mapped, then deployed, an underwater drone upon a startling find. No records or locator pings registered before. Sonar images gradually rendered outlines of a well-preserved fighter plane of era vintage lying upright 13,000 feet down. As remotely guided cameras drew within meters through the forbidding black, details emerged. The star insignia, squadron number, wings swept back at sharp angles. All evidence it could be a rare Curtiss P-40 Warhawk that saw frequent Pacific combat. Draped across coral gardens on a seamount crest, the Warhawk seems to have narrowly missed a deck landing attempt to slide straight off the carrier's edge. The odds this aircraft would ever be located stagger belief, but it surfaces as a time capsule into the decisive battle of the Coral Sea itself, the desperate skirmishes to control Australia's and Hawaii's fates against Imperial Japanese forces. Alongside the rediscovered USS Lexington, the Curtis adds tangible texture to the legacies and losses from those months influencing history's trajectory to today. Number 6. Best friend fish beneath waves. Outside a small Japanese island, an unlikely cross-species friendship thrives against the odds. Every few days, 79-year-old diver Hiroyuki Arakawa clangs an underwater gong to announce his arrival. Within minutes, a lone fish darts out from her sheltered rocky hole, wiggling eagerly to embrace her human companion of 25 years. Welcomed into his arms, Yuriko, the Asian sheepshead wrasse, playfully nibbles Arakawa's fingers through his thick gloves, a ritual of affection connecting two beings from very different worlds, yet sharing bonds deeper than family. Their first meeting occurred back in 1995 when Arakawa noticed the injured wrasse cowering from threats that left deep cuts on her back. Initially fearful of humans, days of gentle fish feeding slowly built trust. After recovering through Arakawa's caretaking, Yuriko never left his side. As years passed, their routines synchronized in an ode to an unlikely but genuine cross-species friendship, surviving against skepticism and even tragedy. At times, cruel fissures tore through Yuriko's lip, yet she persisted. Now deservedly famous in Japan, their remarkable relationship underscores depths of emotional sentience and personality that often go ignored by Earth's marine citizens. Number 5. Crusader sword. In early 2021, a recreational diver off Israel's Carmel coast glimpsed an object poking mysteriously from the seafloor sediment. Swimming down 60 feet revealed it to be the hilt of a full-sized medieval broadsword, a 900-year-old relic, weathered yet intact. What this diver stumbled on turns out to be a rare Crusader weapon dating to the iconic Holy Wars where European armies sought to claim the Holy Land. Encased in a thick layer of concretion built up from centuries of seashells and sand, the sword's blade amazingly remained perfectly preserved. Extraction had to wait 4 months for expert archaeologists, who mapped its location and meticulously chipped away the covering to reveal a meter-long steel weapon of war in extraordinary condition. X-rays show an uncorroded iron blade inside, leading to theories it was sheathed when lost at sea. They also identified the Suncross design marking early medieval Christian making between 1095 to 1271 AD, spanning the violent Crusades era. How it came to rest on the seafloor is unknown. Perhaps a Christian knight dropped it from a ship ferrying pilgrims and troops to an ill-fated later crusade. Or, more fanciful theories imagine it being cast ceremonially into the sea, its owner not wanting the weapon that failed to deliver Jerusalem used by others. The sword awaits further research, but it represents the enduring tangible heritage still being recovered from a volatile period that changed the cross-cultural dynamics of Europe and the Middle East forever. Number 4. Underwater crop circles. Strange circular geometric designs in underwater sands initially mystified Japanese divers, who first noticed them appearing sporadically off Amami Oshima Island in the mid-1990s. Ranging from 6 to nearly 13 feet across, these elaborate seafloor etchings spread over time to sites off Europe and even Israel. Yet no human creator behind them was ever glimpsed. Some speculated they could be markings by visiting extraterrestrials, but the reality turns out to be far more surprising. The responsible artists are male puffer fish, just under 7 inches long, painstakingly crafting sprawling mating nests to entice females. A male spends up to 10 days tirelessly flapping his fins to excavate valleys and pile curved ridges using the sand grains, sculpting an intricate mandala able to be viewed from above. He then decorates the rims, adding shells or coral fragments, resulting in one of the most geometrically precise constructions by an animal. Females signal their attraction by hovering over the masterpiece, their positioning enabling efficient egg harvesting by the male. The entire structure's symmetry likely helps optimize water flow to oxygenate the eggs. While humans indulge in far more chaotic courtship rituals, the humble yet determined puffer fish has mastered the patient art of precision when winning a mate. Number 3. Colossal squid. Emerging from the Southern Ocean Twilight Zone depths between Antarctica and New Zealand, the colossal squid presents a glorious monster demanding legend status. But as science peeled away sailors' mythical kraken stories, an even more bizarre reality lay waiting to be known from this elusive deep-sea giant, holding dominion over the frozen abyss surrounding Antarctica. Colossal squids rival even supersized sperm whales in scale, wielding massive mantles 33 feet around, occasionally longer. But 8 tooth-lined suction cups ringing each arm, swiveling independently like hungry viper heads, propel the massive mollusk faster than any observer anticipated. And then there are the largest eyes documented in the animal kingdom at over 11 inches wide, granting abilities to detect whales hundreds of feet distant in the utter darkness a half-mile deep they patrol. Yet despite how tantalizingly close they seemed, no scientists saw an adult colossal squid alive until 2007. Like the coelacanth before it, This late arrival to formal zoology fired up new models of what seemed possible in evolution. Revelations followed of delicate immature diaphanous forms, fiercer females, and battles with sperm whales penetrating deep into the muscle. But mysteries persist even as survey vehicles now invade their dominion. Do they hunt cooperatively or display intelligence like cuttlefish cousins? As intrigues only multiply, the regal colossal squid slips back through veils of black, slowly stroking its weapons of war until the next time it chooses to reveal its majesty. Number 2. Space Shuttle Challenger debris. 73 seconds into ascent on a cold January 1986 morning, Space Shuttle Challenger disintegrated over Cape Canaveral with the loss of all 7 astronauts aboard. They ultimately gave their lives in sacrifice, aimed at seeing a civilian teacher, Krista McAuliffe, carry spaceflight ambitions further than ever attempted before. As millions watched live in classrooms, noses elongating into piercing contrails froze then vanished in a fatal puff. All searches over months combed surface debris fields but failed to locate one haunting segment, the 8-foot nose cone protectively sheathing the vessel's heart. Then, in March 2022, an improbable blip on sonar screens drew in a documentary crew assessing World War II bomber wrecks off Florida. Their lights gradually revealed skeletal shuttle outlines emerging on a seafloor desert, and protruding from halfway buried fuselage, the iconic nose lockers housing the lost crew compartment, encrusted in 3 decades of coral growth and home for lingering base. This closure sparked reflection on how ambitions can launch ideals, transforming tragedy into romance when aligned to hopeful horizons. The 7 Challenger astronauts dedicated their ultimate sacrifice toward achieving, no matter what, the future frontier. Number 1. Yanaguni Monument. Is it natural, or do its intricate steps and angles suggest the possibility of harboring remnants from an ancient civilization lost to the depths of the sea? Ever since its chance discovery in 1987, this monument-like underwater formation has ignited controversy as to its debated human versus geological origins. Located about 100 feet beneath the waves of Japan's Ryukyu Islands, the Yanaguni Formation covers an area over 150 feet long. Its composite rock structure includes notched projections, flat parallel faces, sharp steps, passageways, and large squared blocks all reminiscent of hewn and fitted stonework. Some geological experts state it's simply naturally occurring jointed bedrock shaped by seismic activity. But other evidence suggests the possibility it is the foundations of a submerged Neolithic structure or settlement, one flooded by rising seas post-ice age, similar to more recently found sites. While its exact origins lie unresolved, as an underwater attraction the Yanaguni Monument holds undeniable alluring texture and drama. Divers can run their hands over surfaces that spark questions. Are these natural cracks, carved symbols, human tools, or merely natural erosion mimicking the crafted? As the Pacific's own echo of Atlantis legends, Yanaguni's sunken ruins or formations call on our imagination from beneath the blue. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.